Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Wispin here, and welcome back to another video here on the Pokecentral network. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some brand new winter textured Pokemon that are going to be coming to the server. So I want to go ahead and start this video by saying all of the Pokemon that you see in today's episode will be obtainable in-game through buying winter eggs. These winter eggs will be available on the Pokecentral store, buy.pokecentral.org, and the entire store is currently 50% off, with ranks actually being 60% off. Now, if for whatever reason you're unable to make any purchases on the store to get yourself these eggs, we are going to be hosting a bunch of giveaways over on our Discord, which will be linked first link in the description. You can join that, you can participate for free, and I'll be giving away a bunch of these winter eggs to random people on the Discord. And all you have to do to enter is go ahead and join the Discord. Like I said, visit the giveaways channel, and then just click the little horn icon on any of the active giveaway messages, and you'll be able to enter for a chance to win one of these winter eggs. So now we're going to go ahead and check out all of the brand new textures, all of the brand new Pokemon that we are adding here on the server. And then at the very end of this video, I will announce the winner of this contest, which actually I believe gets either $100 store credit or $50 sent straight to their PayPal. It's your choice. And on top of that, if you're the creator of any of the textures shown in this video, that means that your texture was selected as one of the many winners. We have, I believe, 30 different evolution lines, or 29 or 30 different evolution lines. If you are the creator of any of them, then you can go ahead and message me over on Discord and claim your prize, which is one copy of the Pokemon that you created on your server of choice with 100% IVs and the nature, ability, growth, gender, all of that stuff of your choice. So you can go ahead and basically create the Pokemon that you want. And for more information on how exactly to go ahead and claim that, just go ahead and join the Discord and check the announcements channel. That'll be the easiest way to go ahead and get the template of the information that you'll actually need to send me. Basically, you just need to message me on Discord with your username, the server that you play on, the Pokemon that you created, as well as all of the different stats and things that you want on that Pokemon. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out these Pokemon. We definitely got a ton of really cool submissions this time around. Some of the coolest Pokemon that we've seen so far. So first up, we actually have the Arctic Lopunny line, as well as the Candy Cane Lopunny line. So we actually got two of these in a row, and I'm going to go ahead and show the first Pokemon. It will have its nickname, as well as its aura effect, which all of the Pokemon will have if you obtain them from the eggs. Just the ones that I'm showcasing here today. I didn't have the time to go ahead and actually nickname every single one of them, because that takes quite a long time, but I did go ahead and do it for a few so you can get an idea of how they're going to look when you get them out of the egg. So they'll always have their actual texture name as their nickname, and it'll have some sort of a color pattern there, and then they're also always going to have a white particle effect around them, and that is the same for every single winter Pokemon. So it does look pretty cool when you see these guys running around. But this is the Arctic Lopunny, or Arctic Baneri. This is the Arctic Lopunny, which I think looks awesome. And then of course we have the Mega variant as well, which looks like this. Actually really cool. I think I like this one slightly more than the Candy Cane variant that we're going to take a look at here in a minute, but the Candy Cane one is pretty cool too. A little bit more subtle in the changes. It didn't change the entire texture because the brown is still the same. Just added a little bit of detail with the red and white of the Candy Cane. And here, of course, the Candy Cane Lopunny, and then the Candy Cane Mega Lopunny. If it's gonna, there it is. Okay, looks pretty cool. The texture might need fixed a little bit because it seems like maybe didn't quite get through all how it was supposed to. But that's all right. We'll fix it before we go ahead and do the final release. Still, the other two look pretty cool. So here we actually have another Arctic Pokemon, the Arctic Zora, and I think it looks pretty awesome. And then, of course, we have the evolution as well. I'm going to try and get through these fairly quickly, so if I'm not saying much about the texture, that is why. We have quite a few to get through. Next up, we have one of my favorites, the Borealis, which comes from, I guess, Aurora Borealis, Northern Lights, whatever you want to call it. I think it looks really awesome, and this is actually the first nickname that we have 3 colors in. I mean, it's not really anything too special, but kind of cool. And then I did that just because we have the white. I guess I probably should have put it blue, purple, green to kind of match the texture, but whatever. It looks cool, and of course the evolutions look pretty cool as well. Actually, definitely really cool. A lot cooler than the Cyndaquil. And then the Typhlosion does look cool, but I feel like its model needs some work. Maybe it's just the Pokemon itself looks a little bit odd. I'm not sure. But next up, we have a Chatot. This is actually another one that we are calling an Arctic Chatot, but it's basically a puffin, which is a type of bird, if you did not know. And I think it looks really awesome. It kind of looks like it could be its own Pokemon in the main series games. And next up, we actually have a Phoebus texture, which makes Phoebus and Melodic look insane. I love this texture. It looks amazing. Here's the Phoebus version, which is okay, but Phoebus isn't really the greatest Pokemon ever. Kind of hard to make it look cool when it looks like that. But the Melodic, on the other hand, this looks incredible. I actually really love this. And next up, we actually have one of the more basic textures, but kind of cool, I guess. It is basically supposed to be a snowy owl. It is an Arctic Hoot Hoot, which Hoot Hoot, again, similar to the Phoebus, hard to make cool. It's kind of a pretty lame Pokemon. And then, of course, we have the Arctic Knocked Out, which I think looks a lot cooler than the Hoot Hoot, and actually looks really cool because it's kind of fitting of like a snowy owl. And then here we have actually a Noibat, which is the festive Noibat. You can't really see it because it's flapping its wings pretty fast, but they actually have a cool little gradient. It might be a little more visible on the Noivern. It is basically a green to red sort of fade across the wings, which I think looks really cool. And I do think that this Pokemon, well, not really my favorite of the winter Pokemon, it definitely is a cool addition and really unique compared to a lot of the other ones. And here we have another one of probably my top 5 favorite textures from this update, the Constellation Vulpix. We actually haven't had too many Vulpix lines submitted for any of the texture contests, which is surprising because it is a really popular Pokemon. And I think this guy looks absolutely adorable, and then the Ninetales looks really cool here. And of course, it'll have that nickname and the particle effect on the Ninetales as well, which I think kind of brings the whole Pokemon together and makes it a lot cooler than when it's just completely blank. Next up, we actually have the Starly line. I believe this is, yeah, the Frigid Starly line. So it's kind of just a more blue, kind of, I guess, frozen looking Starly. And then, of course, we have the Staravia and the Staraptor, which basically just follow the same color scheme as the Starly. And next up, we have the Frostbite Ekans as well as the Arbok, which I think they're pretty basic Pokemon, but they do look really cool, and it is a cool variant to Arbok. Definitely a cool color scheme. And then I believe this is also a Frostbite Pokemon, the Frostbite Gibble, as well as the Gabite, the Garchomp, and then finally the Mega Garchomp here. Next up, we actually have the Frozen Badoo, basically just a blue variant of Badoo, again, similar to how the Starly is, just a slight color change. Well, a pretty significant color change to the Pokemon, but nothing really too detailed going on with it. Still looks pretty cool. And then we actually have one of the Pokemon, my favorite Mega Pokemon in this entire update, which is Aerodactyl. And the reason this is my favorite is because this is actually the Icicle Aerodactyl, which you won't really get that, I guess, vibe from the regular form, but once you see the Mega variant, it looks amazing. So this right here is the Icicle Aerodactyl, Mega Aerodactyl. I think this guy looks pretty cool, and it does actually look like it has icicles all over it, which makes it even cooler. So we are about halfway through all of the textures. We have, I think, 10 legendaries that we're going to check out at the end after I've gone through all the other Pokemon. But here we have the Norse Honedge. I know, another Honedge line. This is like the 4th or 5th one. But this one looks pretty awesome, so I couldn't help but add myself. It's really unique and a lot different than all of the other Honedge lines that we actually have. And then this is the Doublade, and then, of course, the Aegislash. I believe this is the Sword Stance. Oh, okay. So for some reason, these two aren't actually showing up in game, so I'll have to go ahead and make sure that is fixed by the time I release this version of the texture pack, but we're not going to be able to see them here today, so you'll, I guess, have to go ahead and try to find them in game for yourself if you want to check those out. And then, of course, we have the Ponyta, which this is also not working. Interesting. Okay, so Aegislash and Ponyta are broken, but Rapidash does work. So this is the, I think I went with Frozen. This is the Frozen Rapidash, which looks pretty cool. And so next up, we actually have a Pokemon that I've been wanting people to make a texture on for a very long time, but no one's really taken on the challenge because it's kind of difficult to make a texture for Eevee. There are so many evolutions to this Pokemon, and you have to make a fitting texture for every single variant. But the creator of this texture did a very, very good job, and this Frostbite Eevee looks amazing, and all of the evolutions look really cool as well, which is really hard to do just because of the amount of different evolutions that there actually is. But I feel like they all came together really well. The blues are slightly different tones in each evolution, but I actually like that. Normally I do like to keep things pretty similar, but with this it just kind of works. And then of course we have the Umbreon, which looks amazing. I'm always going to be a fan of shiny Umbreon over just about any other variant, but this one definitely is a close rival to that. And then we actually have the other 3 evolutions, which I could not fit on my party, but we have Sylveon, which I think might be my favorite out of all of these Frostbite textures, Leafeon, and then, why are you flying? Okay, there we go, Leafeon, and then Glaceon, which looks really cool, but is probably the least, I guess you could say least exciting. I don't know the exact words that I want to use there, but it's the least, stands out the least because it's Glaceon and it's frostbite texture. You know, it just kind of doesn't make the Pokemon seem too different from the base variant. So we're coming up to a few of the last evolution lines. I believe we have 5 regular evolution lines left, and then I think 10 or 12 legendary Pokemon that we have for this update. But first up, we actually have an Ornament Starly. The main reason that I actually decided to include this is because it's just so unique compared to every single other Pokemon that we're adding in this update, and it does look kind of cute. It's a cool Pokemon. Staraptor in its evolution line, the whole evolution line, its textures are kind of hard to work with the way that they actually are laid out in the PNG file that you have to edit. So that is why it kind of looks slightly odd with how the textures line up. There's a lot of sharp edges. That is, as far as I'm aware, because of the way that the texture is actually laid out in the file, and there's nothing that you can really do about that. It's just kind of how things are set up. Some of the textures are pretty difficult to work with, but I still think that this color scheme on Staraptor does look really cool. And next up we have, I can't say favorite, but definitely another one of those top 5 Pokemon, the Turtwig, the Snowfall Turtwig line right here. This guy is amazing. I love this texture. And then of course we have the Grotle, and then we have the Torterra, which looks really cool. Really, really cool. So here we have the last 2 non-legendary evolution lines. We have the Amura? I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that. These are both Snowfall Pokemon. That is the texture name. And then the Auroros. Again, another Pokemon. I have no idea how to pronounce the name, but looks awesome. And then we have the Pineco, which is just really cool because it's an actual pine cone, and the Pokemon itself should look like this. I think it's better than the base variant, but here is the Forretress. And let's go ahead and check out the legendary Pokemon. So we actually only have 8 different legendary Pokemon, but 2 of them have 2 different forms. So first up, we have the Festive Volcanion, which is pretty awesome looking. We have the Candy Cane Regice. Again, a really cool Pokemon, very different from the base form, and I think that's actually good with all these texture things. I like it when they're very, very different from the base form, but still look really cool. We have the Land Shaman, which actually I think both of these are having a little bit of an issue, just like a few of the other Pokemon from this video, but they will be hopefully working by the time I get this pack released, so you guys will be able to check those out in-game if anybody ends up getting them. And then, of course, we have the Elf Celebi right here, which is just a Celebi wearing a little elf costume. And here we have the final textures of the entire contest, the Xerneas texture, which is the Reindeer Xerneas, and then we have its active form, hopefully. Yep, that's working. Okay, so that is its active form, that is its default form. Pretty similar, just the different color on the horns. Antlers. Those are antlers because it's a deer. So yeah, not horns. Okay, and then we have the Santa Fe, which is actually what the creator nicknamed it. It's basically just a Manaphy wearing a little Santa costume, which I think looks really, really cool, and the person that made this did a great job. And then next, after this one, we have the, I think, Frozen I think this is the Frozen Cresselia. I'm not sure if I went with Frozen for the name of the texture, but something like that. And I think this looks really cool. And then the final texture of the entire contest is the Gingerbread Heatran. Let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. Oh, he looks so cool. He looks so cool. So another one of those that is in my top 5 favorite Pokemon. But my top 5 doesn't matter because there can only be one winner for this contest. Okay, in reality, every single person that got their texture added to the game is a winner, but there is one winner that is going to get the prize money. So let's go ahead and get that all set up and take a look at who the final winner of this entire contest is. So if you guys are not familiar with how this actually works, I select a single texture from the entire contest out of all of the submissions, which this time around, I believe we had around 200 to 300 different submissions. 30 textures or 30 evolution lines actually got added to the server. And then I choose one person out of those added to the server to go ahead and win prize money, $50 straight to their PayPal or $100 store credit, their choice, whichever they want. But I decided that I'm actually going to change it up a little bit. And going forward, including this contest, I'm actually going to choose one person rather than one texture. So if you submit multiple good textures, that actually is going to increase your chances of winning the contest. And because of that slight change, the winner of the contest is actually 3, 2, 1... And the winner is Wheatless. So not only did he create this gingerbread texture, which I believe could be a winner on its own, he also created 2 more textures, which is the Turtwig line, another one of my favorites, as well as the Pineco line, which is another really good texture. So for creating all 3 of these awesome textures, I decided that he deserved to be the winner. So Wheatless, if you go ahead and message me over on Discord, you can claim your prize. And everybody else that won, everybody else that had their textures shown in this video, you can go ahead and message me on Discord to claim your prize as well. Now, if you guys did actually like any of the textures shown in this video, go ahead and leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Putting together this video and putting together this resource pack does take up a lot of time. And if you are interested in supporting me and supporting the channel and supporting the server, you can go ahead and buy these eggs at buy.pokecentral.org. They're 50% off, and that sale is going to be lasting until January 1st. So I want to go ahead and say before this video ends, all of the eggs, all of the Pokemon that you get from the eggs, they're actually guaranteed to be 65% IVs or higher. A lot of times they actually end up being in the 90%, but that's not guaranteed. It's just guaranteed to be 65% or higher. And the reason we do that is to make sure that any Pokemon that you get out of your egg is actually usable or close to being usable and needs as little input from gems and tokens as possible. So if you open up one of those eggs, not only do you get a random Pokemon from this update, you also are guaranteed for that Pokemon to have 65% IVs minimum, a cool color nickname, and a cool aura effect, which cannot be obtained through any other means other than just purchasing those eggs or winning them from giveaways. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.